Oh, we're live.
Hello, we're live. Thank you for coming. Sorry for the small delay of the session. We had a little bit of organizational problems, but it's all fixed now. I'm really excited because this is the session that everybody should really, that is still on Java 8, should really watch because there's so much good stuff in Java 8 and beyond that I'm, really eager to listen to Henry to see what's really good about this. So, without any further delay, Henry, the stage is yours. Can you share your screen
Yeah, I forgot that part. Can I do
and
that?
I'll yeah and then
Present,
I'll let
present,
you the stage.
present, share screen. Yeah, I know. And let's see if I figure it out. That should work. This one. Let's do that. Yay. And so I think now you need to put the screen on
Yep.
and I have my face there. Perfect. That's
Okay.
exactly what I need, except that it's
It's really
shrinking.
small. There you go. That's perfect. Okay. Enjoy the session. I'll ping me if you need help, but I'll be here anyway.
Okay, and
See you.
don't hesitate to interrupt if there's other questions. Hi. Yeah, sorry for the delay, which probably means I won't finish on time, but let's see where we go from there. So I'm Henri Tremblay. I'm the managing director and head of 3D Screen Imagine Canada, which is a company doing financial software. So we do like SaaS-based trading platforms and risk analytic. I'm based in Montreal. I don't know if I said that. Based in Montreal, and we normally hire. I'm not sure we have any Java role open now, but have a look once in a while. We do hire people. That said, so of course I'm Java champion. That goes without saying. Mostly because I work on open source frameworks like EasyMuck that you see here. There's a new version out, by the way, which supports Java above 8, which wasn't that easy actually. It gets harder to muck these days. I'm also managing the Montreal Java Use Group. So if you pass by Montreal, you can come say hello. Then, oh yeah, I wanted to thank Remy Fox because he helped me a little bit with this talk too, because that's a really knowledgeable guy who's working on the JDK and new features. So he helped me craft some of the example to make them even prettier. So thanks to him. You probably know, but Java is moving on pretty quickly these days. So we're now at Java 19. So I'll talk about things in up to Java 19. I won't cover all the features, of course, because there are a lot of features. I'll just put some funny ones I want to look at. I do present on O'Reilly every 2 months, more in-depth presentation of 4 hours with more features. So if you want to have a look and just go there to listen to this one. Today, yeah, it's more about the funniest one and the one I really like to use in my daily programming, let's say. So Java 19, as you can see, there are 2 flavors of versions. So one is the red one, long-term support, which is normally the one you should use if you're not crazy bleeding edge. These are stable version and fixes from the master of Java or the main branch of Java gets backported in these version for a long time, until 2030 at least, I think, for all these versions. And the other ones are just valid. So the blue ones here are valid for 6 months. So watch out if you're using them. The next red one is, I think, Java 21, but there was discussion between if it should be every 3 years or 2 years. It should move to 2 years. So I'm expecting Java 21 to be the next LTS, but can't promise. That said, the code is there. So if you want to have a look after and follow along, there are 2 branches. master branch, and Henry's branch. Master is where I'll start from. Henry is where you finish at the end. So you'll be able to have all these flavors. It's a bit about finance and calculating a return on investment. So I'll just give a really quick financial course about it. So when you do your personal trading, because you all should, you buy stuff, stocks, bond, options, future, and call that a position. So position could be cash or security. So cash, you buy, it's money, of course. So like if I have Canadian dollar trading account, I will have Canadian dollars in there, which is my cash position, and I will have some securities that I bought, which is my security position. The cash price never varies because it's cash, and the security, of course, will vary. So if the stocks goes down, the security value of my position will go down, and if it goes up, the value of my position will go up. Then, if I want to know if I made money since the beginning of the year, I will calculate my return on investment, so ROI, since the beginning of the year, which is called year to date. So Y to TD, and that's what we'll calculate today. And so that's an example of the calculation. So here I will start with, I will start with, I have now $3,000, and through the year I've bought and sold stuff. So the way we calculate is we take the current position, so the current value of today, as of today, and then we rewind all the transaction that happened. It could be a buy, sell, deposit, or withdrawal from the account. So buy and sell, I'm buying securities, and deposit, withdrawal, I'm putting money in that account from somewhere, or I'm removing it. So if I rewind everything, I can look at the price in the past. So in this case, January 1st, the price of all these positions, and I do the value at that time. And so in this example, I won't do all the maths here because it's not that interesting, but you can see that if I annualize my ROI since the beginning of the year, I'm at 5.66% in that example, which is not bad. Okay, so that's what we'll do. And now, just look at the code. It's a lot of live coding, so it won't be that boring. So the first example is around here. I'll move that out. So, by the way, there's another version of that thing. So that thing is an example I reuse and reuse. There's a version I use for refactoring as well. So if you want to have fun, that's the refactor version. And you can see on GitHub, what's the repository for that? I think it's called refactoring, actually. You can look at that, and it's the ugly version as well. So you can play refactoring, the same example. Then everything happens there, and it does pretty much what I just told you. So I'm getting now, first day of the year, and I'm copying my current position to be able to rewind all my transactions, which I do here. This is just to put them in order because it's easier to go like the latest one and go down. And and then when I've rewounded everything, I calculate the total value of that position, and I'm calculating my current value and just dividing things and stuff, and it gives me the ROI. So as you can see, that's pretty cute. It's highly readable, and it's fun. Then, what can I do with that? The first thing to notice is that I'm using local date, which is from Java 8. And to be honest, at first I wanted to use a Gregorian calendar, so old school way to use with date, to play with date. Seriously, it was so complicated and so annoying that I just decided that it doesn't worth it. You should never, ever use a Gregorian calendar ever again. It's just a cause of bugs and of cause of you losing a lot of time actually. So use these dates, and that's the first thing I'll tell you about this one. And then we'll actually go there. And so, okay. The other, no, sorry. I'm getting myself lost. So that's the first thing is doing. Second thing you should notice is this here. I'm injecting a clock. So again, that's a Java 8 thingy. Goes with the dates. And this allows me to actually set the time, which is something extremely important if you want to replay transaction at any moment, for example. So be able to have your system being at an exact date that you like is quite useful. So instead of using the local date now here, I'm actually passing a clock. I'm talking about that. It's not Java 9, but I know it's not that known. So I do like to play with that and talk about it. Then, okay. So the idea is to move to Java 19 and see what we do with that. I will try not to get lost. And first, let's just run that thing, first of all. So that's my main class. It's running, I'll have a look. So just loading a bunch of, it's loading my current SOD start of day position, a bunch of transactions, and then it's rollbacking and calculating the ROI. And as you can see, it is crazy slow, which is sad because I'm not doing that much in there. So I'll first start by something cool and try to figure out why it's slow. And for that, I'll use Java Flight Recorder. I know it's not a performance tuning exercise today, but we used to have a flight recorder not really usable for free, and now it's kind of there free, and that's since Java 11, I think they decided that. So I can use it, yeah, even on Java 8 like I am now, and it's even built in an IntelliJ that I'm using there. So it's kind of something from Java 19. Okay, it has finished, so I want to see the result. Profiler error, we can stop profiler because I did it first. Please give me my graph. What's happening there? Open. Yeah, you're supposed to do that. Why? What's going on there? Why is it unhappy like that? Not sure of the JDK I used actually here. Let me unloose it. What's wrong there? Check. Yeah. Stupid thing. I forgot to look at that. Let's move to this one. Okay. And then please flight record me. Okay, now it's doing stuff. So I'll let it run for like 2-3 seconds. And let's see. Okay. I can stop it. I don't need that anymore. And it's super tiny, I guess, for you. So let's put it in big. Then the fun question, I actually don't know how to show you the view. Can I show you the view? Is there somewhere performance profiler? But I have no shortcut for that. Okay, I'll just show it for you like that, and then I'll go back in the presentation mode. I forgot to rehearse with the presentation mode for this one, so I'm not as efficient as I am in normal. So we have a little flame graph here, and the little flame graph is telling you that Find for ticker is suspiciously taking tons of time. So I can jump to source and go back to my presentation mode and have a look here. Oh. Find for ticker is filtering for a given ticker, finding the one and only that should be in there. So a ticker is like the little identifier for a stock. And then it's returning that. And if we were live with people in the room, I would normally ask you, why do you think it does that? And you would answer me, it's because of the stupid filter. So that thing is actually called a lot of time, because every time I load a new transaction, I look for the ticker. And so I look for the security that goes with that for a given ticker. And since I'm doing that for all transaction, and here I'm going in there, if we look at all securities is here, and all securities is a collection, but this collection is, where am I creating it? It's there, and we go here, and then we have some more fun looking at it. It's there, and it is a list. And while I'm there, this is pretty big, actually. I don't like that. I could actually clean that up a lot. So just for fun, let's start there. I'll do that. Let's clean that code. And because all this code reading tons of things like this can be replaced into something that looks like this here. Here we go. And with the tool list that I want to use for now, because I'm not yet in Java. So let's clean that up. Okay. So I'm reading the code. It's an array list. And the problem is that searching something in an array list is O of n. So now I have O of n multiplied by my number of transactions, which is crazy slow. And the thing I want to reach there is when you use new stuff like streams, it looks fun, but do not forget that it's not because it's a stream that the algorithmic underneath is magically getting more efficient. So in there, you should really not do that. And in this case, we want something else. We would like an array. We would like a map. That's the thing we need, actually.
Ari?
Yes.
We have a question.
Sure.
Can you see the question?
Because I know there must be one I could do. I don't know if the alternative would be find first, but it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care about the order in that case. So find any is more appropriate, I would say, because whatever I found is fine. I don't care about the ordering. And my assumption is that it might even be found faster because it's somewhere in there. It doesn't need to be the first one, if that's the assumption. So that's why I'm using find ID. But yeah, find first or whatever will work. And I don't think it matters that much in this case. It's more a logic. Thanks for the question. Okay. So as we saw, that's a bad idea. While we're there, let's play with something else. I'll do MVN, verify. M is an acronym, so I'm using MVND, which is a Maven daemon. The Maven daemon is like a fast way. I would call it a Gradle-like way to compile in Maven. So it does much less thing, and it figures out that things should not be redone twice. So you should all use it. I'll put links at the end about that. Let's just recompile that thing. Here we go. And I'll play with benchmark. So, that's not what I want. Where am I now? Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Minus jar, benchmark, target, benchmarks, and it's called security, I think. Where is it? Yeah, security. Okay, I have a little benchmark. If you're curious, it looks like run bench. Hello, compiler. Okay. Be a long day if nothing works today. Security service benchmark. Okay, if I get the wrong name, that's explains. Okay, I've run it really quickly. To just give an idea, but we see here that it takes 11 milliseconds per operation. Okay, now I'll do something fun actually. I'll move just to Java 9 and I won't change anything. And I will load my securities. I'm not, by the way, maybe I lost you. I'm not fixing the performance issue right now. I'm just benchmarking the load of my security. So I've refactored them to something tighter, which is faster already. And now I'm playing at just moving to JDK 19. So 8 to 19. And I'm running that thing again. I knew we would do something like that. Let's see again. It's funnily slightly slower, but I'm still in the margin of error. And that's most likely because I have like StreamYard running at the same time, and things are not super reliable. That's fun. Okay. It should be faster. So if you benchmark that on a steel machine, it will actually be faster. And I can also, yeah, let's go here and I'll put everything. And I'll try something else. Let's do something else for fun. Okay, let's first do this, and then I'll do the clean verify. I'll clear it up and I'll run it again just for fun. Let's try this one. Much better. Okay. So I've recompiled in Java 19 and I ran the benchmark again, and I think it makes it react differently. That's better. Okay. So I feel everything is messy right now, but if you understood what's going on, I've moved to 19, and that gave me like 3 milliseconds per operation. Of course, I'm running that a bit quickly, and as you see, the benchmark is a bit too fast to get super strict result, but trust me it's faster. Now that I'm there, I can also even optimize a little bit more. I'll just refresh here. So it will nicely give me my tool list, for example. So I can, come on, give me tool list. Please. Me, dear God. When things are unhappy, they are forever. Yeah. Okay, let's go here. The modular fine. Thank you. Okay. And so then we should be able to do that. Sir, back to presentation mode. Back to my view here. Okay. And no, and I need to compile. And I can ignore on that. Okay. Still the same thing. To list is new thing from Java, what is it? 16. So in Java 16, that comes from the fact that we were doing so much collect to list all over the place that decided to give us a shortcut. The shortcut is returning limitable list, so which is another new thing from Java 9, pretty much. So in Java 9, you have something to do things like list of blah, 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 blah. And it returns an immutable list. So we have a really cute constant list. And toList is doing the same thing. So it's a shorter list that you, of course, cannot modify. But that's really fun to instantiate, and that is really fast. Okay, so where I wanted to go there is that just by moving to a latest version of the JDK, in many cases, not always, but in most cases, normal cases, you get magic speed. That's the first thing. And then the other thing is that, and also if you use new APIs, these are mostly from Java 7 actually. And if you start using these things, you get actually better performance really quickly and less code. Then that doesn't fix our security problem, original security problem. So we'll do that now. I'll just load securities. I'll just fix that by doing this. I want my values here. So I'm just doing a map. I screwed up my one. Securities, my naming here. Okay. And then, so now it's an entry and return of string and security because I want to be able to search by ticket. So that's fine. And here, same thing. I want to return map. And then, and now it's the place where it gets funny. Because of all the map of and things I've told you about, there's also now a map entry. That's super new. So if we go here, it's from Java 9. So starting with Java 9, we do have a quick way to do entries. And seriously, many of you have been looking for that for ages and ages. So you do, and we generally use Guava or some other things to do the same thing. So, but now I can just do it like that. Yay. Okay, so cool. Which means that instead of doing this terrible thing now, I can just load my securities to be sure it's there. And now, if I ask security for a picture, it actually does what I want. So you go here. And why do you hate me here? What did I do again? Line, oh yeah. I don't know. Is it the new IntelliJ UI? And something is not that cool about it. It doesn't find as well things as before. Okay, here we go. So let's see if we're happy now. Better code. What did I broke?
Ray, I think you use the date as the stock symbol, as the key, when you're creating the new keys. Yeah, 52.
Where?
52.
52.
Fields of 4 looks like a date because you parse it at 57. There you go, maybe.
You're right. My God, you're listening. Good. Excellent. Thank you. So we're there, and as you can see, it's super fast. Thanks a lot, Simon. I would have looked for that for a very long time. Okay, now we're there. So as you can see, it throws out a little HTML here, and And it also generates it here. So I have it in result.html here. And the cool thing, they added Java. I should note all this version of Java. I think it's 16. We'll see later. I'll tell you later. But we now have a little web server able to serve static code in Java. So if you start this little thing here, it will actually serve my result. And if I go here, I'll give you the window in there. Here we go. I know it's small. So, as you can see, it serves my entire directory. So if I go here, hey, and I have a really, really, really bad result because that was randomly generated and it's a bad year. But as you can see, I can look with my little web server. So cool. Okay. Then let's go to main while we're there. Why can we improve that thing now? What's cool in main? In main, oh, we have this thing here. So that's the actual HTML that is generated. So what can you do? We can look at why it's yellow here. And yellow tells me, hey, I can use a text block. So text block, I think, got finalized in 17, no, 16 again. A lot of stuff in 16. And I can move my thing here. And I don't know if you saw what happened. Let's do it again. Here we have \n, \n all over the place. We need to escape double quotes, of course. And we have quotes for every line plus concatenation. And when I move to text block, all this is removed. So I have my 3 double quotes that tells that it's a text block. It finishes with another 3 double quotes. It looks at the first character on the left here and everything here. So everything else on the left part is useless. So that's ignored, which allows you to indent correctly your text block with the rest of the code. And of course, no concatenation, no backslash, no nothing. It just works. Well, you do need the line feed here. So it starts, the block actually starts there. And at the end, however, you can go here if you do not want a final line feed. If I go there, I will get the final line feed. Here in this case, I didn't want it, so it's like that. That's an example, like read a JEP. So the JEPs are little pieces of Java that gets developed. And if you go on the Java website, open JDK website, and you look for the JEP for text blocks, it's extremely well explained how this thing is working. So a JEP is not a terrible thing that you should never read. It's actually a nice documentation about stuff. Also here, you can see I have placeholders. I'm using these replace here. There's no like inference of things, of variables in there. It wasn't supposed to be. I think it might appear later in the end. Like Java 22.3, something like this. But for now, there's nothing like that. However, they have a cute, they've added at the same time as text block, a cute method to help out. I just need to move this. So we do that. And then we have something called formatted, which will allow me to pass my ROI. I don't need to string it anymore. And then I can pass my local bay. And again, I don't need to string it anymore. And this will still work normally. To run it again, it should throw out the same thing. Yay, same thing, same result, same everything. We're happy. The other yellow that we have here is this. So we do not need to have bytes anymore. You can write string, and these are really little improvements. So that's Java 11, as you can see here. And it's a little thing, but it makes your life much better. So little details that is quite enjoyable to use afterwards. Okay. So that's all. From there, let's stop that. I would like to make it a standalone application. And starting with Java 15, there's something called JPackage, which actually helps out for that. There are many ways to do it. When you use JPMS, the module system in Java, it actually can bundle things by itself. I won't do that today because I don't want to talk about modules. I want to talk about other fun stuff or fun stuff, depending on how you see modules. So I'll show you how to do it manually. The first step is to find the dependencies in your module, and we have something in your application. So we have found something called JDEPs. JDEPs is listing everything that is used in your application, and so you can use that right away with any application. So as you can see, it's telling me, okay, you're using this package and this package and this package and this package, and all these things are in java.base, and it's talking about JAVAX annotation, which is all the non-null. I don't know if you noticed, but here. So that's the, where is it? I have some. Not here, come on. These things here. Which is some random thing, but I don't care about this one. But if it was a real dependency, I would need to have it. And so for now, the only thing that is actually in use is java.base. So the thing that I can do, use another little tool that is called glink. And in glink, I'm telling, hey, I would like to use java.base, and please create me a tiny JVM with only that module in it that I could run my application with. So I won't do it because it takes 30 seconds maybe. But it will generate something like this, which is an actually working JVM. We have Java key tool here, and I have my libs. The only difference with the normal JVM is that only the little dylib here are modules. So only the modules required to run java.base are in there. Everything else was stripped off. So so it's like, I don't know, it's really 20 megs instead of 100 something. So that's pretty cool. And then what's even cooler is I can use another tool called JPackage. Too many lines here. But it's just above it, how I would run my application with my new Cube JDK. And then I could use something called JPackage, which will actually create something I can install on a machine. It depends on the OS. So on my machine, it will create a DMG because I'm on Mac, but it will create an installer from Windows and an executable on Linux. And it's not that complicated. So I give a name to my application. I tell, okay, the input is in target. My main jar is that thing. And my main class is that other thing. And I would like to use my dedicated GRE. Of course, if you do not give the dedicated GRE, it will just use the one available in the Java home. But here I want mine. And again, I won't do it because it's a bit too slow. It's not that fun to look at it. But if we go to terminal here, you see it will generate that DMG. You see it's 17 megs, which is quite tiny for a normal Java application because strip everything, compress everything, and quite neat. And when it's uncompressed, I have a 30 meg application. So of course it's bigger than just put it up, making a shell, let's say. But it's pretty cool for a normal app and for Java. And yes, and I was running it, but it's not a UI. So, and if I run it, it will nicely run and just do its thing. Here, see same result and same really bad ROI. Okay, then back to the code. package was done. Let's look at another class. I have transaction type. So that thing is an enum, and it tells me what kind of transaction I'm doing right now. Come on. If someone is from JetBrains here, stop hiding these things because they do not always reappear. It's annoying. So, but that's the new team. Okay. Meanwhile, so I have all these things, and there are two abstract methods here: ask entity and revert, and and so they are overloaded above to give a different result by doing polymorphism, classical stuff. So there are many cool stuff about that. First, I have a new switch, another thing called switch with expression, and am I there already?
You have like 7 minutes left, but we can go longer if you need to hurry. So don't worry.
I will overrun because we started like 15 minutes late. So
Yeah,
I'll do
exactly.
my best, but I will be late. I know. Yeah. Okay. Now, okay. Yeah. Let's go with that. No, I mean, my things are a bit upside down, I feel, but yeah, doesn't matter. Okay, so what we can do here, instead of what I did just before, with a new Java version, I can do something like this. So switch with expression is a new thing that returns stuff. Then, so of course, and also I have a new syntax for switches. So here I'm switching on this, and if this is that enumeration, you can see, so here I'm supposed to return true, true, false, false for by cell. I can put two things in my case. Oh yeah, that's true. The old syntax is still valid, so the case, by, break, that's still a thing. But if I want to use, but I can use this one, and as quantity, these are false actually. I know it's true, myself. And then deposit. Come on, withdrawal. False. I can do that. So first, the switch is returning something. It's called a switch with switch expression. I don't need a return or anything. It's all cute. It's a return. So the syntax allows me to tell something like this. And with the arrow, put more than one case in there. The other fun thing is I have no default clause because I'm covering all the enumeration possible. So the compiler doesn't need the default clause, and it knows about that. So if I was actually doing things like this, it will tell me here you see it's just unnecessary. And also, if I was adding another possibility in there, that like this, he would see it complain, telling me, hey, you're not covering all the possible values, so I hate you. Because of course it's a switch expression, so the switch should be able to always return something. And if there's a case where it can't, it's verified. And then the cool part, you would tell me why this is better. It's kind of sweet because it feels a little bit less object-oriented. I had that discussion with Jimmy, but it does remove a lot of code. It's pretty tight, and you can see right there that like all the values and what it's doing. So it's pretty tight, actually. And there's also performance benefit because resolving the polymorphism is actually slower than just switching it like this. So performance is better, and I think it's more readable than having everything spreaded all above. Of course, I could apply that to the revert, but I won't do it now because I'm almost out of time already, and it doesn't help much. Oh, we'll move. So switch expression, new switch, and yeah, that's the main two thing actually. Then we go here. This is the security class. We'll look at that. First thing we can do in this thing is that we can use something called the pattern matching for instance of, which means that here, instead of doing that thing here where I verify that the class is the correct class, I can actually get rid of that. I can also get rid of this one. Keep security here. And I can do instance of security, then call it security, and then do the other things. So this is pattern matching. So it says, okay, if O is an instance of security, then just save it in that new variable called security, and let me use it afterwards. I could actually, which means that all your equals now will be really, really, really cute and tight because you can do it in pretty much one line. Again, I had a discussion about this one. This is interesting because depending on the type of class, you'll have a performance benefit or not. So if you remove this, it helps your garbage collector a little. However, if you keep it there, which is my favor here, it means that like you're kind of expecting that these objects won't be recycled that much. So for objects that are crazy recycled, you should not put that equal. It puts pressure on the GC. However, if you, in this case, I have like a limited amount of security that I keep in a map statically forever. So the equal will actually take me out really quickly out of there. So in this case, I prefer to keep it, but you could performance tune and benchmark it in your case, but just know that in some cases it doesn't help to have this, and then you have a really, really, really cute equal. Okay, so pattern matching on instance of. The other thing you can notice here is that that thing is fairly immutable and it's containing a lot of static data, which is actually a good use case for something called record. Record is the class record, a little bit like enum is the class enum, and that is Java 16. I told you a lot of things is in Java 16. And it means that instead of having all of this, I can. Record is so it is an immutable class, final class, containing a bunch of values, and there's a new tight syntax to be able to play with that. So in this case, I don't need these things anymore. I'll put this here. I'll put that here. So you have a cute way to put the constructor. I forgot to change my commas at the end. And I don't need this one. There you go. What did I? Oh, wrong. Here we go. So the constructor is like right in there, and which means I don't need it. I can remove. There are getters, built-in getters that are, so getters will be generated magically. Be aware that get symbol is out of fashion. So records is just putting symbol like that. Of course, there are no setter because everything is immutable, but it means I can get rid of that thing. I can get rid of that thing. Actually, can also get rid of the equal if I was matching on all the fields. However, here I'm optimizing by having some kind of functional key. So I will keep my equal. I will also keep my hash code, and there's a provided toString that shows stuff a little bit like you see on the code here. So I can remove my, so you can still override some stuff. You can add some more method on that thing if you want, but there will be an equals and hash code and a toString provided by default. So these are really important features. Cool. What else? What else do we have here? Can go in price service. Price service is a generator of price. What can I do here? One thing is starting, that's Java, I think that's a 17, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. I have a cool API actually, because random is not the most efficient way and best way to generate random numbers. So they decided to add an API on that, and then you can select whatever random generator you want. So in this case, for example, I could do that. And the cool thing here is that random generator actually has a better API. So instead of doing that thing, I can now finally say I want something between 100 and 300, and that's it. So cool. And under optimization, there's one funny part here, is that if I'm using my J package with that thing, it will actually fail now. Why? Because get default here is using a special default. By the way, it's not random anymore, so it's use another algorithm. It's use this thing instead of the thing in random. And that thing, let's go down, down, down. This is coming from the so this is injected by, wait, my God, what is the acronym? GCI? So it's injected by Java, and I'm losing my acronyms now, which means it's discovered at runtime. So that implementation here is in a special package called java.random. And if in JPackage you do not explicitly add that thing that is required at runtime, it will fail. So watch out, JPackage is magic and JLink and JDeps are magic, but they cannot find things found at runtime, even if you're not really aware they are found at runtime. So JPackage is fun, but there are some pitfalls. Okay, that said, what time is it? I'm crazy late, but let's continue. The other thing is that price service is not a real price service. It's random thingy. What you would like to do for real is call, let's say, a REST API to find the prices. There's one thing like a product called Advantage that gives prices. And so I could try and connect to that thing. And starting with Java 11, I have an actual HTTP client to be able to connect to it. And it's quite fun to use. So you just create a client here. And I'll uncomment all these things because I won't type them. It could be asynchronous or synchronous. I'm using the async version because it was funnier. But basically, you're telling the client to send a request. The request is, where is my request? Here in this case. So I'm calling that API, and I'm doing a get on the API, and then I'm asyncly getting the result. Telling to, so it returns a completable future. I'm telling to apply the body, which is just, I'm getting the body. So there's another completable future there. Completable future is a Java 8 thing. So you should already know about all that. And at the end, I'm getting a list of completable future that I can stream and get the value of to get my final price. I won't go in detail for the completable future part, but be aware that there's a nice API to do an HTTP request. And if I want to run that thing, of course, it will connect to Advantage and give me all the price for all the prices for IBM since the beginning of time. Then, where's that? Where's my code? I got lost again. Yeah, okay, just a second. And now, because I don't want to take too much of your time at some point, I'll go in my actual branch. Will it let me go do it? I'm not sure. Yeah. Gosh, it's in there. Here we go. So from there, if I want to unit test that thing, I would like not to call alpha vintage for real. So the best way will be to mock the HTTP server. You remember the JWeb server I was creating at the beginning? Actually, I can do that in code now. So there is a way using simple file server. You create the file server, and then you're telling the port you want, and blah, 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 and then you start it, and you return it because you need to stop it eventually. And that is the exact same thing as the JWeb server you saw before. However, it's running in the same JVM. So if I run that thing here, it will mock the server and call the server from that result, and it will return my fake result here. Cool. Again, pretty swift, and that's Java 18. So now we're past the last LTS, actually. If you're wondering, the package of that thing is a bit weird. It's because it used to be there but hidden before, and they decided to make it public, but it stayed in the old ugly package just to be coherent, let's say. The other thing you might have noticed is I've started to use var here. So var is Java 9, 10, 10, 10. Which is a way to do not have to type stuff anymore. You should use it mainly when there's something like this. You have alpha vintage connector. It's pretty obvious that here it will be alpha vintage connector. So to prevent retyping that and be redundant, you just put var. I don't use it that much because an example is here. If you look here, you have no idea what's in there actually. It is an HTTP server if you go in here, but it's not obvious from that line, which means I try to, if I use it, it's just because it's super obvious what the type is, which means in general that I'm instantiating it on the right-hand side. Okay, and that's var. How much late am I? Not that bad. See, I have one last feature. This is a Java 19, and it's coming from Loom. Loom is a thing about virtual threads. And the idea is that creating a thread is pretty slow. So virtual threads will be much faster. It's like fake thread. There are not OS threads anymore. And it's fun, and globally you ask to get a virtual threads or virtual threads, a pool of threads, or blah, blah, blah. But that's not that funny. The interesting part, and I need to enable the previews of Java 19 to get it, and I need to add specifically the concurrent incubator to get it to work. And where's the other one? That's the test. I want the compilation. Give me the compilation. Here it is. Okay. So I have the compiler here. So yeah, so I need to enable it at compilation, all the previews. I need to add the incubator package. I want to make sure I don't use it randomly. And then I can use something called structured task scope, which is a really, really, really cool way of doing concurrency. So I have it here. Instead of the completable feature that was quite ugly right before, I create this. So this is an auto-closable thing. I create the task scope. And instead of having all the features, I just do my stuff. I'll try to sort here. And I'm just forking everything I want to do in the scope. And that thing will create virtual threads. It will do its thing. At the end, I'm just waiting for the result to happen. I don't need to be async anymore because it will create a bunch of virtual thread and then call the send synchronously. And then I'm waiting for it to finish. So my scope to finish executing all the virtual threads, and then I can ask for my final result. And that actually does the same thing as the future thing. So it's kind of magically creating really cheap threads in parallel without me really knowing about it. As I wait for the result of all these things and I get them back and I'm done. And it closes itself. So it's like an executor service, but that I do not need to keep it open because it's super slow to have to close and open an executor service. But it actually just magically does the same thing. So that's still incubating. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get that in the next LTS Java 21, but it's really cool. It's maybe the first time I feel like I don't need to overthink my parallel programming in Java. So I'm eager to see that happening. And that said, is it the only thing I had for you? Yeah, we'll finish there, I think, because we're super late.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Henri. There's a couple of remarks that came in the comments. Obviously, Kirk wasn't happy.
I know, Kirk.
I know. So, yep. And
Yes,
the other
the
thing
benchmark
is
not running for really long either. I know. It's for the demo.
So the other thing is that I launched a quick poll here to what is it that I use it all the time, cannot work without a Java 8 to 19 feature. So what is yours, Henri? What is the feature that you like most and use most and cannot go back really? No.
It's a bit.
You can say more than one if you want.
Yeah. I like okay, there's maybe three features, and it's dull. So one, all the map of, list of, set of are awesome. That saves a lot of time, and it's really cool to have these things. It's a silly little thing, but we use that so much that I can't live without it. The other interesting thing is I use a lot something I haven't shown here, which is the how did you call that? Like the command line Java. So I'll just I'm forgetting the name now. It's stupid, but the fact that now you can do something like this. So
the source code. Launching.
I don't get. So if you never saw that, you can. So that command will actually compile the main Java class and run it right away. You do not need to compile before. And I'm actually using that a lot for scripting. I hate to have to use like Ruby, Python, Shell to do my scripting of stuff. So I do it in Java all the time. I could use Process Builder. And I just launch all my stuff and coordinate all my stuff. And also it's much more portable between like Windows and Linux. So this is a thing I use a lot. And I was going to say about a third thing. The switch is cool. So the switch and pattern matching and the new syntax of switches is pretty cool. It makes the code more stronger, less error prone. It's something I'll use more and more and more.
So the viewer said records for me, and it replaces Lombok. There's actually a question about this, which is there an equivalent which is mutable, kind of to replace Lombok, as Michael mentioned, but like a mutable record?
No. And hello, Alexi, because we know each other. But No, the answer, there's no mutable way to do it.
Yeah.
That no, and they won't be. Value types will be possibly no, not even. They won't be mutable. So no, there's no other way. Which is why I don't use records. It's cool when you have something small that you know will be easily doable. Amounts, I haven't shown it, but amount here could be a record as well, and percentage, all the other classes I have. But yeah, it's really there's nothing for mutability, so it's still Lombok if you're into it, and I do not use it.
Okay. So yeah, Mustafa agrees with you on the factories for collections, factory methods for collection, but we also have a winner in VAR, and we have an interesting comment on the random generator stuff was really interesting as well. There's so many more algorithms that you can choose now. Trading, for example, speed for the a more a better
More
distribution of the
random.
randoms. Yes, exactly. A better distribution of the randoms.
Absolutely, like secure random implements that as well, so you can switch depending on your if you're prod or local. The trend local random is a random underneath, but with the trend local, so it's not as good as what the random generator. Look at the API because random generator. There are ways to split it and put it in different threads, so it's a bit strange how it's done, but it's possible and it will stay thread safe without locking like random does. So that's kind of important and also helpful because it's the same. It comes from the same random, so you have the same seed, so you have a better idea of what's going on in there. The VAR. People are going crazy about VAR. I'm maybe an old timer, especially the junior devs, but I've started to see code where they put VAR all over the place. Sincerely, you have no idea what's going on. You can't see what is what. You can't find the types. IntelliJ, I don't know why, but I've lost that feature here. I think it's because of the new UI, but it used to give you the type when you type in var just to help you out to figure out what's going on there. And that was an actual good idea because seriously, at some point, it's fun when you code it, but to read the code afterwards, it's terrible. You have no idea what things are doing. Like for those who are really old, like you and I think.
Definitely me.
Before the generics, everything was object, and we would keep looking for the stupid type of the object that it will be returned from a collection, and that was crazy annoying. And with var, I feel I'm going back there. I was like, what the hell is the type they're returning? So watch out.
Yeah, I share your feelings. It's there's only one other use case that I use var for, which is when you have class names that are in different packages, but they have the same name. For example, client and server request classes, and sometimes you use them in the same piece of code, and so you don't want to long qualify one of them and import the other. And so to avoid the long qualification of one of them, you just put var client request, and then you import the server type, and
That's true.
you're good.
True, and sometimes you can magically infer a type that doesn't really exist. I talk about that during my O'Reilly talk, and for that it could be interesting as well. Apart from that, yeah, not much.
Indeed. Good. The references. Yep.
Yeah, before I forget. So code is there, refactoring I was talking about, JDK stuff, SDK, MVND, me on O'Reilly, as I was saying. And then inside Java for if you want to know what's going on in Java, dev Java if you want to learn Java, pretty much. A bunch of cool links. And I think that's it, right? Yeah, questions, but we did that.
Okay, I think that it's a wrap up. And thanks again, Harry, for your session. And let's continue enjoying the Java Champions Conference.
Yes, a lot of good talks coming in. Thank you very much. Thank you for the moderation, Simone. And see you
Bye,
soon.
everybody.
Ciao.